You may know this area as the Scablands.
Yeah, but I think that's a pretty ugly name for an actually really beautiful area that was created like 13,000 years ago by floods from the Ice Age.
And in fact, we're actually RV camping right here at the world's largest ancient waterfall.
And a place that you've probably never heard of.
Last episode, we showed you some of our new home base of Moses Lake. Well, this week we're headed an hour down the road to Sun Lake's Dry Falls State Park to see what kind of outdoor adventures we can get into. This is a popular state park and it's located right outside of Cooley City, Washington. We found an awesome dispersed camping site and we'll give you more details about the spot at the end.
All right, it's a little buggy. They really like the truck, but overall, what do you think of the spot?
I think it's gonna be great.
Just a quick PSA, we had to clean up a ton of nails and glass when we came in, so just leave these places better than you found them.
This is pretty cool. There's actually lake access right here at the dispersed camping site.
Banks Lake. Banks Lake is not part of the state park, but it is nearby and it's also a very popular area for boating, swimming, and fishing. And best of all, our free campsite was located right on the lake. After settling in, our first stop was at the State Park Visitor Center so we could get a lay of the land. You get a beautiful view of Dry Falls where we plan to go paddleboarding, and it's also a great place to learn about the history and the geology of the area. Fast-flowing cataclysmic floods from the last ice age helped carve this area and create all of the gorges, lakes, and rivers that you see today. Crazy how many people probably drive through this area and have absolutely no idea how it was formed. From there we made our way to the main portion of the state park where you can find Sun Lake resorts. There are over 4,000 acres where you can find camping, a golf course, a convenience store, and tons of water access. The park also has 9 freshwater lakes, which we heard were good for paddleboarding, and it's the main reason why we came to this area. As we were flying the drone out over the park, it almost got abducted. There were some birds that must have thought it was a pretty tasty snack, so we had to make an emergency landing.
Holy they're dive bombing it.
Birds? Ah!
The campground has over 150 sites, but they do fill up fast, so if you want to stay there, make sure you make a reservation. And unlike a lot of state parks, it actually holds RVs that are pretty long. It can hold up to 65 feet. On our way to Dry Falls, we decided to stop at the camp store to grab some supplies.
Aha, yes, nice machine. And if you need some fresh water, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
A little bit of a rough road coming back here to Dry Falls Lake.
A little bit.
I probably wouldn't come back here without a high clearance vehicle.
And it's one way, so they have little pull-offs, so hopefully it's not too busy.
The Umatilla Rock Trail is a 2.7-mile easy hike. It takes you by both Perch Lake and Dry Falls Lake, but we decided to skip it to give ourselves more paddle time.
We got you the view from the top of Dry Falls, so we figured might as well come down to the bottom and check it out.
Yeah, but just be really careful. We are moving because we can't stay still. There's so many bees here, so if you have a bee allergy, maybe stay away or just be prepared with EpiPen.
Yeah, thank God we don't. Excuse me, bees. Go do something else. Go make some honey. This one right here is not a very happy camper right now.
No, I officially broke my streak of 30 years of not getting stung by a bee. I actually think they're yellow jackets, so at least there's not a stinger still in there, but it was not fun.
Yeah, she's not happy. Don't let her lie to you.
Can you believe that this used to be the largest waterfall in the entire world? It was once 4 times the size of Niagara Falls at 400 feet tall and 3.5 miles wide. It may be dry now, but more than 13,000 years ago, it was a raging cascade as Ice Age floods rushed through this area, creating coulees, which is the local name that they use for gorges. Now, if that name sounds familiar, that's because we're staying in Coulee City. It has been absolutely incredible being the only 2 people out here paddling in the footprints of the world's largest waterfall.
If you got a better way to spend a Monday, let us know. Comments below.
It was absolutely gorgeous watching the sun go down over the canyon walls, and overall, it was one of the more serene paddleboarding experiences that we have ever had. Second day, we headed back to the park to paddleboard on Deep Lake, but this time we decided to put in a little work and do a hike beforehand.
Get the lay of the land, little reconnaissance mission.
Deep Lake is definitely a more popular spot to hang out than Dry Falls, but it's probably because it's a little easier to get to.
This is actually a pretty easy hike, except for a couple of rocks that are a little unsteady, but pretty good trail.
Yeah, just don't roll your ankle.
And don't forget to look for ticks, because apparently they are rampant around here.
First impressions feels like this might be one of the most beautiful places I've ever put my paddleboard in.
Deep Lake has over 60 acres of crystal clear water, and while I believe smaller boats are allowed here, we didn't see a single one while we were out. But we did see a ton of paddleboarders and kayakers enjoying the day. The cool water was a great relief on the over 90-degree day, and the water was so clear we enjoyed watching all the little fishies under our board. If you can't tell, we do a lot of just hanging out on our paddleboards, but if you're up for more of an adventure, there is a 3.3-mile water trail that takes you all around the perimeter of the lake. Blue Lake is another very popular lake in the area with lots of water access and RV camping. However, it's not actually within the state park border, so we decided to head back to the park to its biggest and most popular lake, Park Lake. There's also a trail that does part of the perimeter of Park Lake, and it's not only good for walking but also biking because it is paved.
It is summertime and we're not very good about planning ahead, but I will say this place, it's hard to get a reservation here. I tried a few times leading up to us coming out this direction and nothing.
Yeah, this place was pretty packed, especially over the weekend, so make sure you're not like us and maybe plan ahead and get a reservation.
Park Lake is about 300 acres of water and the most visited lake in the park. This is also where you'll find the most motorized boats, so not the best for paddleboarding, but we just kept towards the shore.
So I didn't have one of those as a kid. You can fit 5 people on that thing. That thing's badass. So if you are fancier than us and maybe have a motorized watercraft like a boat or a jet ski, this is probably going to be the lake that you put it in this state park.
This is also a very popular spot on opening day for fishing, so if you're into that, we heard reports of some huge rainbow trout out there.
One thing you're going to want to know about the state park is that if you're going to be out on the lake in a paddleboard or kayak, they do get fairly windy in the afternoon.
Yeah, they say early morning is probably the best time to paddle because it is a lot less windy.
Yeah, we were going to only go so far out here on a park lake, and we've done 0 paddling on the way back. We're just playing rudder with the wind at our back.
Letting the wind blow us. This isn't exactly the landscape I had in my head when we said we were going to Washington, but this area is absolutely gorgeous.
When you're planning a Washington outdoor adventure, you might overlook the Sun Lake Dry Falls area, but as we've shown you, maybe you shouldn't.
Obviously, we would have liked to stay in the state park, but as we showed you, it was absolutely packed for the weekend, so we were lucky that we found this dry camping spot not even 15 minutes away.
Ankeny #1 is just outside of Cooley City, and it's right here on the shores of Banks Lake. And honestly, we've been out here for 3 days, which is the limit, but we have seen rigs as big as schoolies, Class A's, and tent campers.
And like pretty much everything else we've shown you in the area, you do need a discovery pass to stay here.
I'd say for our first Washington adventure, staying in the world's largest ancient waterfall was a good start, and we got many more to come, so we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.